What's up, guys? So I sold off all my dividend stocks. And not to mention, I don't think I'm going to be buying dividend stocks anytime in the near future. Now, when I first mentioned this a couple weeks back in my Discord and even here, people were freaking out. Like I said that I didn't want to get vaxxed or something. It was crazy, the backlash that I've gotten. And I think there's a few things that led to that backlash that I definitely want to talk about in the video. One, people don't think or don't realize that in personal finance, you're allowed to change your mind, or not even change your mind, evolve with the times. Yeah, a year and a half ago, I was talking about dividend stocks to buy, right? At that time in my life, I was focusing on dividend stocks. So that's what I talked about on the channel. And now, a year and a half later, just because I'm backing away, it doesn't mean that I'm contradicting what I once said, or it's just that I feel a little bit differently in my time of life, and why I want to make this video, because you might be feeling the same way. There's so much hype around dividend stocks. You might be saying to yourself, like, I don't get the hype. I don't really see it. I'm with you. The other reason why I feel like people are just freaking out, just flip out, is because in our day and age, and this is not just in personal finance, we are living an or life. It's either this or that. There's no end. There's no this and that playing well together. And this happens when we see, like, you either invest in dividends or not, or you invest in growth stocks or not. Why can't you have a healthy balance of dividend and growth? You don't need to have this or that. Remember, and I said, not just personal finance, I see it freaking everywhere. It's not this or that. There are some things where and this and that can play together nicely. That's kind of where I'm at. So let me talk about some psychological reasons why I'm avoiding them and some factual things why I'm avoiding them. And once again, like, this is for me. In a year from now, I'm probably going to go back to them. Maybe 2 years when I get to retirement. I'll talk about like when I want to get back in. But remember, guys, this is my plan. And I'm telling you my plan so that if you're feeling alone or feeling the same way I am, it's okay. So 2 points that I want to talk about first before I talk about any of the details is, number one, this is not forever, as I just mentioned. I see a time in my life where dividend and the passive income from dividends is going to benefit my life. It's going to be good for me. I see myself in the future using dividends in retirement. So that's the first thing I want to say. The other thing is, I'm not avoiding stocks that pay dividends. I'm not like setting up a screen or like sort all the stocks that don't pay a dividend. Like, for example, like Apple, guys, Apple, Microsoft, they pay dividends, right? I'm not going to not buy Apple. What I mean is the traditional dividend stocks that people buy strictly for dividends and dividends only. You know what those stocks are. I'll mention AT&T because it used to be like the staple. I don't think it's going to be anymore, which is another point that I want to make. But it's more focusing on building a dividend portfolio for dividend income to live off of. If I happen to see a great company that I want to invest in and they pay a dividend, that's a different story than building a growth dividend portfolio and, you know, trying to be like Gen X dividend investor. The dude, he just prints dividends, right? But that's what works best for him. I see that in my life in the future, just not right now. Okay, so why not right now? First and foremost, we're living in a pretty good bull market right now. And frankly, I think I can return more than my dividends are returning me. Inside my dividend portfolio, I use trackers and things like that. And my average return on those dividends was pretty much 4% with not a lot of capital gains growth. As we know, dividend stocks, they're not known for their growth. Well, inside this bull market, I'm doing better than 4% with, you know, even just trading covered calls and things like that, that I think I could put my money elsewhere right now and get a little bit of growth. Now, are we going to be in a bull market forever? No. If you watch Graham Stephan, the bull market ended 5 years ago and it's going to crash and keep crashing and crashing and we'll be in a bull market forever. When we go to a bear market, yeah, that's something that, you know, things will change and I will look to make money in the markets in different ways. But right now, I want to take advantage of this run and this volatility and, you know, and see what I can do with the small percentage of my net worth that goes into stocks, right? So when I say like volatility and stuff, if you have not seen my previous video, I have less than 5% inside individual stocks, the rest ETFs. So if I want to YOLO a little bit with that 5% right now in this bull market, I kind of want to do it. It was maybe a little boring having dividends right now.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The next one is like a little bit of vulnerability even, and it's kind of the reason why I only have 5% inside stocks. I've realized over time that I was just buying dividend stocks because of what I saw on YouTube or what people were doing in my Discord. And the fact of the matter is, I did not really know those companies as well as I want to if I'm going to invest in them. So I looked at my dividend portfolio and said, like, I really don't know what Kimberly-Clark does. I really don't know what Johnson & Johnson does. I know what they do, but not really. Like, I didn't really know the fundamentals of that company. And I preach here on the channel that if you're going to invest in something, you probably should. So I didn't on a lot of my dividend stocks. And when I looked at them, like I did for some, but when I looked at the whole, a majority of them I didn't. So I'm like, I should not be holding these companies. One day, when I'm going to do the research and I'm going to think about my dividend stocks, I'll be able to do it more systematically and not just rushing into it because I need to post dividend videos because I have a YouTube channel. And that's frankly how I started to feel. Some other personal things that just don't sit well with me right now is the fact with all the volatility comes this unknown about dividends. Dividends aren't guaranteed, as we know. There's been some major companies that have cut dividends and suspended dividends. And it's just one thing I just don't want to worry about. Right? I know it's not that big of a deal, but I just don't want to worry about it. I don't want to worry about building up a dividend portfolio in the risk that they could cut that portfolio. How many people are holding AT&T right now saying, oh man, it sucks? Or how many people had Disney a year ago when they did it? Or Ford hasn't had a dividend in forever, and that was like the quintessential dividend stock. I just don't want to rely on one to, maybe it go away. And what's the likelihood of that? Not very likely, right? And could I just get rid of that or sell it off and get into another one? Yeah, I don't want to worry about that. So the lack of guarantee really bothers me. It just, and you can come in the comments and say, well, you don't know what your stocks are going to do either. No, I don't. But I at least have more control over that. I don't have control if AT&T cuts their dividends or not. I don't have control. I have control about the things that I buy and the options that I place. At least if that goes bad, I can at least blame myself, right? We hold AT&T. We have hundreds of shares of AT&T. Looking at that great 7% yield, and all of a sudden it's gone. Well, who are we pissed off at then? Now into some first world problems like the income thing. Number one, I'm approaching the income. I'm not there yet. I'm approaching the income at which the dividend tax rate is going to jump. When that jump is made for dividends up to 20%, that's not going to be any better or worse for me than just growing my portfolio. When I'm retired and I don't have a large income, I could see those dividends at 15% being great for me. But right now, as my income continues to rise and my businesses start to build, my CPA is like, Brad, dividends are not going to be as valuable to you as they are at that 15% tax bracket. And I think it's something that not a lot of people talk about, and maybe it's an income thing. I don't know, because the income is pretty high. Like I said, that's why I chuckled when I said I'm not there yet. But realistically, with the growth and everything I'm tracking, I will be there in the next year or so. Right? So if I'm going to build up my dividend portfolio now, and then they're going to be taxed at 20% because my income's so high, I can just wait. I can have my growth and my ETFs and my index funds and let them grow and not have to worry about so much where my income is and if I'm going to be being tax efficient with my dividends. And I guess it's in like the same bucket. Well, one's, I guess, my income, and we're so used to it being 15%, but we know that dividends are not tax efficient. I don't necessarily need more forced income. My income is good. I am blessed. I work very, very, very hard. I've been working since 5 a.m. It's probably like 2 p.m. now. I work very hard for my money. I'm not ashamed of the amount of money that I make. I have no problem saying it. I started as an 18-year-old kid working in a pizzeria, so anybody can build up their income. But with that income, I don't need more forced income. I don't need to live off dividends. I love my teaching job. I don't see myself quitting for a little bit. So I don't need that extra $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 every single year on top of my income. That's not what works best for my personal investing, personal finance journey. So I look at how much, now it's starting to grow. That taxable income was starting to grow, and it just was unnecessary right now for me, especially with all the other factors that play in. So I didn't like the forced income. I didn't like to have to pay tax on it. I did not like that you pay tax on the dividend, the share price drops by that amount, right? We don't see it. We don't notice it. It still does. And then we don't see it. We don't notice it because it has to capital gain growth right back up. So you pay tax on the way down on the dividend, and then you pay tax on the capital growth. You're essentially getting double taxed. We know they're not tax efficient. And for a lot of us, that tax doesn't matter, right? You're not going to step over a $100 bill if you only get to keep 85 of it, right? I'm for that. But if I got to look at a $100 bill on the street and I had two options. Option one, I could pick up that bill, but I have to give $15 to somebody else. Or I can pick up that bill, have zero access to it for 10 to 15 years, let that bill grow on its own, and then get taxed later. I'm probably right now in the stage of my life, I'm going to pick that bill up, put it in my pocket, have zero access to it, let it grow, and then have access to it later and pay the taxes later. That's just where I'm at. If you're with me or even understand what I'm saying, guys, give the video a thumbs up. Also, too, YouTube is now doing a tip jar, virtual tip jar, right next to the like and the dislike. You can now say thanks. If you've been following for years, I've helped you make some money, you want to buy me a beer, that's a great way to do it. Cool feature that YouTube just put out. It's kind of like a super chat in live streams, but now you can actually do it inside individual videos. I'm kind of for that. Guys, like I said, I don't want to knock dividends. I just want to show that they can be for you or not for you. And there's many different paths to get to the success of personal finance, right? To get to that place that you want to be financially. For me, right now, dividends just does not fit. When I get older and I'm in retirement, will I sell off all my Apple shares and convert them into dividends and collect that dividend income? Yeah, probably. I see that. That is realistic. But right now, it just does not fit into my journey. I would love to hear about your strategies. Are you with me? Are you against me? Am I a complete idiot? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. I will do a full portfolio review soon, show you exactly what's in it now that everything is sold off and things like that. Look for that in the next couple of days. And until I see you guys on the next one, stay positive, work really, really hard. Always please be kind to other people. Hope you have yourself an amazing day and an even better tomorrow.